Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next. Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next.
More regular show.
Later.
Cartoon Planet.
Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next.
Regular show.
Later.
A new annoying orange.
Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next.
Incredible Crew.
Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next.
Mad.
Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next.
The Looney Tunes Show.
Later.
The Amazing World of Gumball.
Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next.
The Amazing World of Gumball.
Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next.
A new Generator Rex.
Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next.
Young Justice.
Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next.
Batman, the Brave and the Bold.
Later.
Ben 10, Ultimate Alien.
Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next.
Ben 10, Ultimate Alien.
Later.
Star Wars The Clone Wars.
Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next.
Pokemon Black and White.
Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next.
Thundercats.
Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next.
Redakai, Conquer the Kairu.
Coming up on Cartoon Network.
Next, more Redakai, Conquer the Kairu.
Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next.
Ben 10, Alien Force.
Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next.
Bakugan, Mectanium Surge.
Coming up on Cartoon Network.
Next, Johnny Test.
Coming up on Cartoon Network.
More Johnny Test.
Coming up on Cartoon Network.
Next, Chowder.
Coming up on Cartoon Network.
Next, Camp Lazlo.
Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next.
The Flintstones.
Coming up on Cartoon Network.
Next, Ed, Edd and Eddy.
Coming up on Cartoon Network.
More Ed, Edd and Eddy.
Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next.
Adventure Time. Later, more Adventure Time.
Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next.
Mad.
Later.
More Mad.
Coming up on Cartoon Network. Next.
More Mad.